This is Captain Hal, 1947, back again with one of my old guns. Today I have a Model B Mossberg, a very unusual gun by some people's standards because to find one of these old guns in operating condition is somewhat unusual. The original gun was produced in 1928, and it is the first time Mossberg ever made a bolt-action rifle. They had made slide actions and lever action 22s prior to this, but this was their first 22 bolt action. The first guns were made for the F.C. Taylor Fur Company out of St. Louis, Missouri, and they made that particular gun for them for about 2 years. Then in 1930, they produced it under their own names, and there are certain little differences between the two guns. The ones produced for the Taylor Fur Company had a two-piece bolt. It came apart in approximately where the handle is here. It also had a smaller knob on it than the present gun. This one here is considered a one-piece, and it was produced between 1930 and 1932. This gun is I think, somewhat unusual in as much as it has this curved butt plate, which is a kind of a throwback to guns that were made in the late 1800s. And by the 1930s, it is somewhat, most of the rifles that were being produced and shotguns had a fairly straight butt plate. But this one still has a curved one, and it's kind of unusual in that respect. It is a single shot, like I say. It does not have the plastic finger guard or trigger guard that Mossberg became kind of synonymous with. That didn't come along until late 1930s. It has a single screw takedown. It's a fairly light weapon, weighs about 4 pounds, and some people consider it a boy's gun. But it does have approximately a 13.5-inch distance between the butt plate and trigger, and so that's what the average standard rifle or shotgun has today. Like I say, it weighs about 4 pounds, very light, very easy for a young marksman to use. It's very easy. Once you cock it by pulling back the hammer here that now has it cocked. Prior to that, it is safe. If you pull the trigger, there's nothing going to happen. You can't do anything. The only time it becomes fireable is when you pull the back this, but then it locks the bolt closed, so you can't open it. It has a single open rear sight, and of course the bladed sight on the front. There's no way to attach any kind of scope or anything to these particular rifles. In fact, at that time, that was not something most people were looking for. And actually, the scopes had not really come about until later in the 1930s. This gun is now 90 years old. Seems to be in pretty good operating shape. And I think that it's a very unusual gun. Something that you don't see too often. These old boys' guns, because most of them got kind of beat up. Because normally young kids don't maintain their guns very well. And this one, when I first got it, was kind of rough looking, but I've cleaned it up, took all the darkness off the stock, and exposed the graining of the wood. This here is a birch, as I understand it, stock. It is not walnut like some of their higher end guns later became. Anyway, Just wanted to show you this. If you have any questions, please write me, and I hope to have another one out soon. It's been a while since I've had out any videos, but I just got this gun not too long ago, and I'm really kind of excited to try it out and see how it does. And anyway, thank you very much.